Today's video is about the fastest way to fat loss. Aren't you curious? Are you having trouble dealing with gaining weight slowly but surely in your menopausal body? Are you feeling like nothing you do is working? My name's Connie Rutledge. I'm a functional nutritionist. I've had a menopausal fat loss practice for more than 15 years, and I can help you figure out why you're not losing fat. I can help you figure out why you're gaining year after year, and we can put a stop to that. But before we get started, I want to share two things with you. Yes, they're affiliate products, and there's things that I use every single day. You might notice on my forehead right here, it's a little discolored. Well, I had a basal cell taken out, and it was quite the surgery. I've had stitches for the last 3 weeks, but I'm using a copper peptide serum to really help with scar tissue and help mend that tissue together and rebuild. The copper peptides are the perfect thing to really help my body figure out how to mend, and hopefully I'll have a very, very small scar. I'm talking about the Vitali Skin Serum. It is a 3% copper peptide. Now this stuff is pricey, and you don't need to do the 3%. They have a 2% that's not quite as expensive. That said, their products are amazing. Help with skin integrity, help with fine lines and wrinkles, smooth out texture issues that are really kind of just bothersome. I really recommend it. I've been using this brand for about a year now, and I feel like the integrity of my skin, the softness, the plumpness, it's definitely been improving. And I wanted to share with you the progress and how things are going. I've been definitely using it twice a day at the scar, and used it with the stitches, and I'm really looking forward to seeing, in 3 months how things go, how it looks. So stay tuned. Okay. The other thing that I will share, especially during this, with the sutures in my forehead, when you have stitches in your face, you do everything possible to heal. And I've been using my Mito red light. I have used the Mito red light therapy, oh my gosh, for probably 3 years now. It's something that I do almost every single morning. I get up in the morning, I drink my water, I go in and get my coffee, and then I head back to my bedroom, and I sit in front of my red light for probably about 15 to 20 minutes, bare skinned. I take my top layer off and I sit there in front of that red light, which is pretty incredible. The red light is so magical. It's a low intensity red and near infrared light. There's so many brands on the market. I use the Mito red light. There's a link in the description box and a discount code, but honestly, there are so many benefits to red light therapy. Cellular energy is increased. It helps to reset your circadian rhythm. Say you didn't sleep well last night. You wake up in the morning and you can kind of get a boost of energy, and your body doesn't kind of go haywire with the fact that you watched TV in the middle of the night. It kind of resets that circadian rhythm function. It can help with fat loss. It definitely will improve your mood. That red light, that light therapy is super impactful on your neurotransmitters, and I say we could use all the help we can get. It helps with inflammation. It helps with joint pain. I mean, I generally use it on my upper body, but I have turned around if I have a backache, or, I lifted something like a grandkid that was too heavy and I kind of got off and had some muscle strain, then I'll turn around bareback and sit in front of it. My husband uses it. My children use it when they're here. My grandkids love it. And often the cat walks in and plops down. So there's something to it. All right. So there's my two, products of the day, the Vitali copper peptide serum for anything going on with your complexion, and then the Mito red light for all things upgrading. So you're curious about the fastest way to fat loss. Yep, you should be. And I'll say the fast is definitely part of that equation. So fasting is the fastest way to fat loss. And there's a lot of confusion about fasting. I really recommend that you do at least a 12 to 16 hour fast on the daily. That's going to give your gut, your GI tract, your digestive tract a chance to process. We have something called a migrating motor complex. Every hour and a half, your body does a sweeping intestinal sweep to push food through. So we want to make sure that we're allowing that process to be able to happen. If you're eating too often, then you're not going to get the benefits of that migrating motor complex the way it's designed. That's just, intermittent fasting, and that's super important. Definitely optimizing your digestive tract is a good way to fat loss, because even if you're eating low-calorie food, if you're eating too often, well, that's going to be a problem. It's going to kick up inflammation, it's going to kick up insulin, and your body's not going to be able to tap into stored fat for fuel, and you're going to be stuck. So intermittent fasting certainly is a key to maintaining fat loss, and it's going to be helpful for you to kind of graduate into maybe practicing a longer fast now and then. Okay, what do I mean? If you are metabolically stuck and you're just, doing all the things and you're unhappy, not able to lose fat, then you might want to try something like a fasting mimicking diet. There's different ways of doing this. Walter Longo discovered and wrote about he wrote the fasting mimicking diet, and it's basically a very low calorie diet to kind of give your body a break from the typical eating scenario. And it's a 5-day fast, and it is designed with kind of a low calorie food meal plan that it's low protein. It's typically vegetables and broths and things that kind of allow you to have a quote unquote meal, very small, but the feeling of eating and still getting the benefits of what happens when you do an actual water fast. So that might be something to look into. And what does that look like? It's like if you're going to do like a 5-day fasting mimicking diet, maybe you're going to have a handful of almonds for breakfast. And then at lunchtime, you're going to have a broth-based vegetable soup. And the same thing at dinner. And then, you're basically, you're eating a little bit of something, you're not feeling like you're starving to death, and you're able to kind of maybe be a little more compliant and experience the benefits of a fast without actually fasting. Does that make any sense at all? Well, it's something that might be a gateway for you if you are absolutely convinced that you can't do a 24-hour fast. I feel oftentimes if you feel like there's no way you can do a 24-hour fast or a 36-hour or a 72-hour fast, then maybe you do kind of break it down into tiny little meals that might be a way for you to kind of trick your brain and trick your body and metabolism into kind of enjoying a fasting mimicking diet. You could also try alternate day fasting. Now, this is for someone who maybe has trouble with a longer fast. The key to fasting, and I'll say this, is to make sure that you're able to break your fast appropriately. If you do practice fasting and you're gung-ho, you're motivated, you want fat loss, and you're kind of dipping your toe in the water, you've done a 16-hour fast and you feel pretty comfortable and confident with that, you're not overeating when you break your fast and you're pretty dialed in, then it is time to maybe graduate onto more of a 24-hour fast. And I'm talking about maybe twice a month you do this, depending on what your fat loss goals are. Okay, so when you do break a fast, you're going to want to be eating a meal, a normal meal, high protein, it's got to have maybe 30 to 40 grams of protein, and low carbohydrate, and feeling like you're not going to go off on a binge. You're not going to do junk food. You're not going to get in the weeds with the fact that, your mindset is, well, I just fasted for 24 hours. Now I can eat whatever I want. That is not going to be helpful. So get your mind straight. Understand that, yes, fasting is the fastest way to fat loss, but you have to have an aptitude of control. You have to have a plan so that when you break your fast, because you do need to eat, and when you eat, it is designed to tick all the boxes. You've got your protein to build muscle and to maintain muscle mass and make sure that your hair doesn't fall out by too much fasting. You have appropriate calorie consumption. No starvation, that doesn't work. So having the plan of, fast appropriately and feast appropriately, get in the mindset of, I can do this and I'm not starving myself. I'm just giving my body a break from the day-to-day eating like I've done for 60 years. And I'm practicing something that, human development is designed for. Because again, I'll say, we were not designed to eat every day. If you look at early humans, they didn't have food available every single day. And actually, we get better in the fasted state. So once you become practiced, and once you feel a little bit of less inflammation, your body starts to respond in a favorable way to eating better quality macronutrients, eating low carb for a while, doing all the things that we talk about here on this channel all the time, then it's really going to help you kind of create a plan so that you can have the best of both worlds. The fastest way to fat loss is get solid in your consistency. And if you're doing 2 days a week, you're eating, kind of a fasting mimicking diet style where you're eating very low calorie. And then 5 days a week, you're eating normally. Obviously, what is normal, right? High protein, low carbohydrate. As a menopausal woman or a menopausal man, because your husbands can absolutely benefit from this style of eating as well. It's going to be interesting how you kind of start fashioning your day with the fact that maybe you don't need as much food as you think you do. Maybe you're going to think differently about how food affects you. How do you feel after that meal? How do you feel after skipping a meal when you have fat to burn? When you are enjoying the metabolic flexibility of tapping into stored fat for fuel, it feels good. It feels you feel empowered. And that's kind of exactly how I want you to be feeling all the time, even when you feast, right? Your body gets to enjoy processing the food that you're eating, and then it also gets to enjoy processing the stored fat. Cleaning up, we call that autophagy. When the body is in the fasted state for 16 to 18 hours, it starts doing that cellular cleanup. And although you might feel like you're starving, once you get metabolically stable, you should really feel fantastic in the fasted state. I'll just leave that there. I talked about that alternate day fasting. I mean, if you were a bodybuilder getting ready for a body, a competition, that's what they do. They eat one day and they fast one day. Obviously, when you're fasting for 20 hours, 24 hours, you're drinking water. You can drink black coffee. You can even have quote unquote fasted snacks, maybe a little bit of fat, maybe a little bit of bone broth, maybe just a piece of meat. And so that you kind of starve off that gnawing hunger that drives you crazy. And, some fasts are going to be different than others. So when you are kind of completing this style and trying to kind of maximize and get your body burning fat really consistently, you might want to practice some fasting tricks to just have that tool in your toolbox. And when you start getting more metabolically stable, hunger goes away. Yes, your appetite should be ample when you're when it's time to eat. You should have an appropriate appetite. But what I find with my clients, and myself included, if I have been kind of off the rails and not, really, say I've been on vacation and I've been eating 3 meals a day, way more food than I'm typically eating, day to day. Well, I'm going to be hungry if I try and do a 20-hour fast. I need to kind of ease into it. I need to reduce the carbohydrates in my body and allow my body to get more stable before and have plenty of protein and fat so that I restore all the nutrients involved in stability. Higher protein for a day or two, lower carbohydrate, kind of get your mind set, and then you can pick a day that either you have a longer fast, like 20, 24 hour. If at 24 hours you're feeling amazing, then go to bed and, have breakfast the next day. That's a 36-hour fast. You'll be amazed at the benefits that you get. So that's the ins and outs of the fastest way to fat loss. I think it makes sense for you if you're healthy. Now, if you're type 2 diabetic and you're not healthy, you might really need to talk to your doctor. Everybody's different, but I have helped countless people get cleverly into a really comfortable place to be able to burn fat and feel great while doing it. Let me help you. If that seems to be impossible for you and you've got metabolic disturbance all over the place and you're having trouble following your diet, you're having trouble with cravings, you're having trouble with, sticking to it, and it seems like you're, daily letting yourself down, then I would really suggest that you get some help, because this is not difficult. Once you kind of get over the hump, you'll be surprised at your ability to stay with it. Consistency is the key. Okay, hopefully this was helpful. A quick dive into the fastest way to fat loss, which is intermittent fasting, and more fasting tricks, okay? Sometimes we get to have food while we're fasting, which doesn't make any sense at all, but it does work in, most cases. So it might help you with your resolve. It might help you with your mindset. It might just help you kind of switch gears into understanding how easy it is to kind of lean into a longer intermittent fast practice. Okay, hopefully this was helpful. If it was, please like, subscribe, that helps. And I've got the drop-down menu with all of the links to products that I love and use myself. And I just champion you to do the things, to get immersed in some tricks and tips that will help you with long-term, sustainable fat loss. And you know what? We're not getting any younger. So come for the fat loss, stay for the longevity, and thanks for being here. It means a lot. Let me know if you have questions. I'd love to answer. All right, until next time, thanks. Bye-bye.